Rodolfo Roman of The Roman Show here at 80s Rockfest with the boys of Stellar Revival. Thanks so much for your time. What an honor it is, right, to be here surrounded by so many legend boys. Isn't it awesome? I mean, I feel like, whoa, right, it's pretty cool. Well, let's talk about you guys first. 2015, you had your album. What's up with some new music, guys? What are we guys going on?
Yeah, we're working on it right now. We're writing new songs. We actually played one of the new songs today in our set, which was the first time we've been able to take that song out live, and it went great. I would say sometime in 2018, expect something, probably in the latter part of the year, but we're working on it. We're engaging with a few different producers we're talking to and some people that we want to write with, and everything's coming together, and we know that it's been a while since we put out any music, and we want to fix that real soon.
So can you give us a little tease of what can we expect, what angle, what are we going, and what are we the fans are going to listen to?
As far as the music? You know what? I think it's just going to be more of a much more mature sound. You know, we're rock and roll guys by trade, and it's kind of what we do is kids growing up, bouncing around, playing rock music. Guys like this inspired us. Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Cheap Trick, Steel. I mean, like there's so many bands that kind of influence us. So, but we're a little older now, and yeah, we admit that because we still look good, so it doesn't matter. And, we kind of want to, just make a little bit of a progression, a little bit of a, like an evolution as to what Stellar Revival is. And, we want the music to kind of be the forefront of that. And I think people are going to dig it because we're not going to take so much of a departure, but we just want to show that we've grown up and we got some other things to talk about other than love, lust, and bad company on this one. So
a little backstory, guys. You guys started with MySpace, was it? That was
yeah.
We go way back. This is way back before Facebook.
Way back, dude. I mean, so we were all in local bands that we used to play together. Mike was in a band. He was in a band in Orlando, and we all used to just kind of swap shows. Like we used to go back and forth. And I remember always saying to myself, whenever we used to play together, I was like, God, I wish I had him as my drummer. I wish I had him as my guitar player. One day I'm going to snag that son of a bitch, and then I'm going to get, right? And you know what? It took a little while, but it all came to fruition. When all of our projects kind of dispersed, we were able to get the exact lineup that we wanted. And, there was a couple bumps in the road with, with a couple other things, but it really made us perform the way we perform today. When we look at each other on stage, we're kind of very excited. Well, not kind of, we're very excited to be there. And we kind of have this moment of the family's back. Here we go. So it started way back then with MySpace. And then, Facebook and all this stuff came like way after. Actually, Andrew sent me a message on MySpace that I never looked at. And he's like, hey, dude, you still looking for a drummer? And it took like months for me to retrieve it. Thank God you did, though. Thank God you did.
I know. I got a bone to pick here with Miami because we're Miami. You're Orlando, but Florida. But what happened to a rock station? 94.9 Zeta, 103.
You know what? Drop the mic.
What's up? I mean, you know what I mean? I'm pissed.
You're preaching to the choir.
I'm pissed. If it wasn't for online or Sirius Radio, I'm gonna give a plug to Octane because I love those guys. But
we love Octane too. We were #1 on Octane with the Crazy Ones at one point. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? There's no freaking appreciation, dude.
It's very crazy. And I lived in South Florida for 25, 26 years, and to come back down and there be no rock on the radio, it's really heartbreaking. And I feel terrible for the younger generation who isn't going to grow up with that. I live in Los Angeles, and I can tell you the same stuff is going on out there. We just lost another classic rock station. Other than K-Rock out in LA, there's really no rock. So it's not just in Miami and other markets. It's happening everywhere, and we're hoping that there's
a revival of rock and roll. Please, sorry, that was the pun of the day.
It ticks me off. I mean, you all remember Halloweeny Roast. You guys remember Halloweeny Roast? Linkin Park.
We played Buzz Bake Sale. That was our first show. No, that was our first show. Is the Buzz Bake Sale. That was the show that kind of catapulted our band to actually play more shows and be a band. We were given an opportunity from a DJ at Buzz Bake Sale in 2009, 2010 to play that show, and after that show, everybody knew who we were, and it kind of took off, and then we ended up getting a deal within a couple months. Local rock radio allowed us to do this, and now that there's no local rock radio, it's terrible. But
so where do we think the stage of rock is, the status? I mean, is there going to be a revival? Cheap plug there, right? You think it's going to
do something about it for sure? Yeah, we're going to make that happen for sure. We're not just going to sit back and let rock die,
I mean, unfortunately with EDM and all that stuff, it just makes it harder. But that's why things like this, Rockfest 80s, guys like Roy, it's huge because he's kind of like saying don't forget about this. Don't forget about this genre. Don't forget about, what we want to push on the new generations to come and stuff like that. Because if it weren't for him playing this festival today, what was the next rock festival that was happening in Florida? I can't even think.
And Rockville.
I can't even think. So there's really not that many. So a guy like Roy to take especially these 80s bands and put us on it, that we were born in the 80s, it's, first of all, huge for us because we're so inspired and influenced by these guys, but it just goes to show that real rockers, they don't go away. They don't go away. Just go take a lap and you'll see all walks of life out there. It's incredible. So we really need to kind of bring it back, on the forefront for sure.
And I personally think that music, mainstream music, pop music has become so contrived and just, so manipulated and forced marketing down the mainstream throat. I think there's going to be a backlash against that. I think people are going to want more natural talent, organic music, and I think rock's going to fit perfectly within that change. And eventually, probably within the next 3 years, I think rock and roll is going to be a big player in the music world again, because it can't not be. It is the best genre of music.
You guys are going to revive it. Guys, thanks so much for your time. Sign Revival and check them out. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, social media, and everything else. Hey, rock on, guys.
This is The Roman Show.